Everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Women of Community Banking podcast. I've got Linda with us today. Hi, Linda. How
Hello,
you doing?
hello. I'm great. How are you?
Can't complain, right? Second week in work in Jan. Came back from a vacation, so can't complain. All good, sunny weather, blue sky. Talking to Linda, can't be better.
We have some sun and some blue skies. It's a little cold in New York, but it's good.
Absolutely, right. Firstly, thank you for taking a time out to join us and do this. By the way, everyone, she is really busy, right? So we had to wait for like what, 2 or 3 months, or actually more than 3 months or 4 months to schedule this half an hour with us. But we really appreciate you taking our time for us and doing this for you. For us, a quick introduction. Who Linda is, I'm sure she does not need an introduction in the credit union world. What I call in the Gen Z language is OG. She's the OG of credit unions, right?
Now I'm feeling old, Anurag.
Not really. You're the OG. OG is the original god, right? So that's cool. So Linda is the CEO of FourLeaf Credit Union, previously Bethpage, now FourLeaf. She spent decades in the ecosystem, building credit unions for years, right? For the lack of better words. Uh, Maybe let's hear from her, Linda. Why don't I ask you, Linda? Do you want to share your journey? How did you came to the credit union movement, and how did the CEO role happen, and how things are?
Yeah, sure. So, thank you for having me, first of all. This is great and Happy New
Pleasure.
Year. Um, So my journey started after college. I actually went into commercial banking. So I worked for Bank of New York, which was the oldest bank in the country at the time. BK was their stock symbol, right? Now mergers and stuff like that, things have changed. But I went through their management training program, which was a 2-year program. It was an accelerated program. You learned about every aspect of the bank. And honestly, it was great. Most of the commercial banks don't do it anymore. It was truly a wonderful experience because you literally learned every aspect of banking. And then from there, I was there for a few years, and then I went over to a community bank called European American Bank, EAB. No longer exists. Was acquired by Citibank in 2001. And during that acquisition, things were changing quite a bit. And I had gotten a recruiting phone call from Bethpage Credit Union at the time. And I didn't really know a whole lot about credit unions, but I was interested in learning because I loved the community aspect of the bank that I was with. And credit unions seemed to have more of that feel to it. And I took a leap and gave a shot working for a $1 billion credit union instead of a multi-billion trillion dollar bank. And I fell in love with the credit union movement. And that was 25 years ago. So I've been with credit unions ever since. I started in business development. I have a business development, communications, marketing background. I actually went to college for I wanted to be a press secretary. I wanted to work down on Capitol Hill. Um, and then I kind of got a little disillusioned by that. But I will say I leverage all of those skills. I like to say that um, as a CEO, regardless of what industry you're in, you talk to people, you digest information all day long, and those soft skills are really core skills. And having coming from a communications background has really served me well, and I feel it is a strength in what I do every day. So my journey's been simple. I mean, I spent the last 25 years growing up in credit unions. I raised my family as I was doing this, and it's really been a rewarding experience for me. I love the credit union movement. I think we're a very important part of the financial services ecosystem. But at the same time, and I guess two things can be true at the same time, sometimes we can't get out of our own way. And that's something that we have to focus on, especially in times of rapid change that we're experiencing today. But I grew up on the front side of things, member facing, and worked my way up. Spent a considerable amount of time in strategy, and I think that also lended itself to my current position. So between marketing and strategy and communications, I worked my way up through the pandemic, led a lot of our pandemic initiatives, and readied myself to succeed my predecessor as the CEO of this great institution that's been around for 85 years as of this year.
Yeah, fascinating journey, right? Joining a credit union of 1 billion to seeing it grow this large and this huge in 25 years, and you being that fortunate to lead the credit union from the front. I think your experience of marketing, strategy, communication, that the intersection is a sweet spot because that's exactly what is required for becoming a successful CEO. And we wish you all the best, Linda. It's like a bunch of other things that we're looking forward to. Great successes that we wish you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. I want to talk about balance, Linda. Right? I mean, there are multiple schools of thought. So why don't we hear from the CEO of a large credit union, right? So my question is across the credit union mission. There's a reason because of which even I left the large banks and the Fortune 500s and came to credit unions because I was glued to the mission and vision, right?
Yep.
But on the other hand, obviously, mission is very important. But at the end of the day, we have to run a good book of business. Unless we do that, we won't be able to serve our members. We won't be able to improve experiences. We won't be able to serve communities. So my question is, how do you preserve the credit union mission on one hand, as well as drive modernization at the other hand at the credit union?
Yeah, I think they go hand in hand, to be honest. And I think two things can be true at the same time. The credit union mission is about people helping people, right?
Yeah,
So in financial services, what do we want to do? We want to be there for our members in the best moments of their lives and then simplify everything in between. People don't want banking to be a chore. They want
yeah,
it to be something that they do, right? They also want to be confident about it. They want to make sure that they're making a good decision when they're buying a home or taking a home equity loan or whatever, they can make an important investment in themselves, right? So we have to be there to support and celebrate those really big moments in people's lives. And then in between, we have to focus on just being there for our members and making it as easy to do business as
Mhm.
possible, which is where modernization comes in. So you can still help people, but modernize all at the same time. They don't contradict each other, they actually support each other. And that's really what we're focused on. We're focused on being a human-centric organization, no matter what channel you come into, that's digitally enabled. So whether we're making it easier for our employees on the back end digitally, or we're making it easier for our members on the front end digitally, that's where we're putting all our time and energy, right?
Yeah,
And it's so important to make sure that you don't lose that human touch, because even the Gen Zers who want to do everything on their phone, they still want to talk to somebody when it's an important
absolutely.
decision. And whether you do it on Zoom or you do it in person in a branch or over the phone, it doesn't matter. You have to have all those channels available to people so that you can have that people to people, people helping people, but also make it as easy as possible through digital capabilities.
I think the way how you summarized, I loved it because I mean, I'm not a Gen Z, but I'm almost a Gen Z, right? I'm 30, 32.
You're a
So,
cusper. You're a cusper.
but at times I feel I'm fatigued with talking to bots. I need
Hmm.
real people, be it walking into a brand. I mean, I'm not gonna take an AI bot helping me decide what mortgage do I take, right? That's a
Right.
huge decision. I still need a
Right.
financial institution, a branch to walk into, right? So what you
Yep.
talked about is so relevant. And by the way, there's a research, I'm forgetting the source of it, that even for Gen Zs, right, we prefer, I mean, I'm not Gen Z, but still, Gen Zs prefer to bank with institutions who do have branches nearby. And
Hmm.
that's real, right? I think that's even more than millennials or than boomers. I mean, we really focus on this, and what you talked about is so relevant. Uh,
Yeah, because they want advice. Like
exactly,
they want advice. This is a generation that leans into their parents and their family and their friends for advice. They like to socialize things, which is cool.
absolutely,
And I
absolutely.
think one of the things we started doing, because we have a national charter, we're one of a few credit unions that have a true national charter. And we started a virtual branch during the pandemic, and it's one of our most popular channels now. We kept it, we created a whole branch infrastructure around the virtual branch.
Yeah,
And we hire people in all different communities around the country to work in the virtual branch because that's what people resonates with people. They want to be able to talk to somebody for those really important decisions and then just do online banking and all that other stuff in between. We also have doubled down on our branch growth. We decided to change the size of our branches to more urban style, small 1,500
Hmm.
square foot
Hmm.
branches,
Hmm.
1,000 square feet, with universal employees and ITMs, right? So that this way you have that human touch and then that expedient fast touch through the ITMs. And they're doing fantastic. They break
Yeah.
even a lot faster, and it gives us the ability, instead of opening 3,500 square foot branches with a drive-through, now I
Yeah.
can open 4 smaller branches.
Yeah.
So it gives us the ability to expand faster and quicker, and then break even faster for the members. So we started this experiment in Queens, which is the adjacent
Hmm.
county to our
Hmm.
legacy market of
Hmm.
Long Island.
Hmm.
And it's been fantastic. It's been very well received. The last branch we just opened in the first 4 months is at $40 million, which is a lot for a new branch. And it's resonating with people. The new brand is resonating with people, and it's given us the ability to open branches. I mean, Chase is back to opening branches, right? Or even to go
Exactly.
out of our industry. Barnes and Noble closed all their bookstores. Now there's a big thing with Gen Zers about coffee shops and bookstores, and now Barnes and Noble's opening bookstores again, right? So it's really fascinating to me. You have to have that blend. And that's why I said we got to be there. We have to be able to have branches, physical branches. The virtual branch is really helpful. And then having that digital capability.
I think you just hit exactly on the requirement because we don't care if you have a huge branch, it's about necessity. I mean, if
Right.
necessities get uh, fulfilled, I mean, I'm happy. I mean, I stay in Jersey City. I was earlier in Manhattan, so if I have a branch that I can walk up to, it might be a tiny one, but it doesn't really matter.
Right.
So serves my purpose, right? I don't want a swanky Chase branch that's a 3-floor branch. We don't really care about that anymore, right?
Yeah.
So that's so great. Uh, in terms of leadership style, Linda, right? So you've stepped onto the CEO role a few years, earlier. So how has your leadership style evolved, when you moved onto the CEO role? Uh, that's one, and a follow-up to that is that you want to talk about few things that you had to like unlearn and relearn because it's a
Yeah.
whole new paradigm altogether.
Yeah, so for me, it's interesting because I grew up where I became CEO. So I
Yeah.
have a lot of relationships, and we have a lot of long-term tenure, especially at the leadership level. Actually, throughout the whole credit union, a lot of long-term tenure. Um, I mean, we're going to be celebrating on Wednesday employees that have been with us for 30, 40, 25, 20 years, and there's a lot of them. So one of the things that was a really interesting thing for me was stepping into the leadership role after having 22 years of relationships with all the people who now all work for me, right? And
Yeah.
you were joking around about the OG. I have my OG departments that were mine, right? Like they were under my tutelage or whatever. And then there's everybody else, and we joke around like, oh, that was the OG group, but now I have everybody. And it's interesting, right? It's interesting how the dynamic changes. I mean, I used to walk around and high five people, and people would be like, hey, how's it going? Now I walk around and people take their earbuds off and they sit up straight, and I'm like, no, 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 you can't do that. It's I'm the same person, I just have a different title. But the bottom line is it's about culture, right? So if you feed the culture correctly and you
Hmm.
develop an inclusive culture, I walk around and say it takes a village all the time, and I truly mean it in the best of ways. I need everybody on the team to do their part so that our company can be successful. And only when that works can you be successful. So, unlearning the boundaries was hard for me.
Hmm.
I really, it took me a few months to get that cadence right of people impose boundaries because you're the CEO, and I needed to be able to find the appropriate boundaries. Because yeah, there does need to be some appropriate boundaries. I like to digest information. I like to think about information. I don't like to make off the cuff decisions. I think that's also something that comes with the territory. And I also have multi people pitching me their opinion opinions and when they're trying to, plead their case, so to speak. So I've just learned to do a lot of listening. And you know, if I need to take a pause and think about it, I do that because that's what's important. I want to make the right decision. I don't need to be paralyzed by the decision, but sometimes you just need a minute. And
Yeah.
this way you're making better, sounder decisions. So I think that, that's been one of the things. So it was really unlearning the presupposed boundaries and then just finding the right, you know, way to interact with people was really the interesting shift for me.
And I'm sure it would have been enormously difficult because where you grew to becoming CEO, people treating, I mean, I was just talking to someone very similar, being the credit union, I think for 30 years, a friend of mine, now he's becoming now he's a CEO. He's like, I'm like, I haven't changed. I'm exactly the same person. So don't treat me different. I just have a different office now. That's all. That's the only difference. But I can so will relate to that conversation. Understand completely. Uh, Next, being a leader, Linda, now it's, I would say, ever increasingly difficult to attract and retain good talent. Because I
Hmm.
was telling you earlier, it's we are not competing against other credit unions. It's people helping people, and it's a mission. But yes, at the end of the day, you are competing against a bunch of other players, be it large banks, fintechs, even the technology firms. I mean, you're based in New York, I'm based in New York. So both of us know how difficult is it to retain good talent, right? So,
Hmm.
what is your approach in attracting and retaining leadership talent in this hugely competitive ecosystem?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because it has evolved over time.
Yeah,
One of the things, so we have a growth goal, right? We want to hit a growth goal, and the only way to do that is to aspire to what you want to be, right? So we've been hiring executives from organizations larger than us so that we
yeah,
get that expertise. We also have a flex work program. We never made everybody come back. We have a flex work program. I feel really strongly about the fact that we have a national charter. We do business in every state. We have concentrations in multiple states. So I want to hire the best people I can. I want to hire from the communities that we're serving. Like I
yeah,
have fair lending folks from California. They got it the hardest, right? So let's hire experts out of California to help us with some of the regulatory stuff that we do, compliance, fair lending, things along those lines. So, I think one of the things is that expertise is everywhere. So by having remote work, by having hybrid work,
yeah,
or flex work as we like to call it, I get to hire people from all different places and experiences. But, making sure that we are upskilling internally,
yeah,
giving people the opportunity to grow and lead our organization from an internal perspective, and then also finding the right balance of bringing in leaders from the outside, from organizations that have been where we've been so they can help us to grow,
mhm,
and with
mhm.
those right expertises that we need. So, I try to balance it that way and really focus on finding the right talent for the right positions,
Mhm.
not being stuck on where they come from.
Absolutely. I think your strategy is bang on because if you get people from organizations that are much bigger than you, they've seen the other side of the world, for the lack of better words. They've seen
Hmm.
the world outside credit unions, or they've seen the world that's there. So yeah, that's a very powerful strategy, right? In the interest of time, Linda, a couple of more questions. I know we're almost on top of the
Yeah.
hour. One question I want to ask is, uh, I know that that there becomes a gap between increasing member experience and operating models because it's not an easy thing to club both of them together. So if I were to
Hmm.
ask you, where do you see the biggest gap uh, been rising?
Technology.
Exactly. I mean,
It's
I was waiting for
technology. I
that.
mean, there's no other way to say it. It's technology, right? And I have this conversation internally. We had this conversation this morning. How do we leverage what's out there today? Not feel the need to reinvent the wheel, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? So, I try to partner with different organizations where I can that are doing something really great. So I'm not afraid of partnering with a fintech if it makes sense, partnering with a technology company to try something new. We're focusing on, we just did a rebrand, and, that took a lot of time and energy. We've done some systems upgrades. We're about to launch a new account opening system. We're looking at a new loan origination system. So we're upgrading a lot of our systems, closing some of the tech debt gaps that we have. And everything that we're looking at is from that human centric, digitally enabled perspective. So
Yeah.
the technology, we need to be able to grow with it. I don't want anything that's old. And honestly, by the time you sign a technology contract, I feel it's already old because there's something new out there.
Yeah.
We're not chasing shiny new toys, but we're
Yeah.
trying to find the right balance between um, something that's going to deliver on our strategy and help us continue to be relevant, because relevancy is one of the things that I think the industry doesn't pay attention to as much as we should. I think that we can't just hang our hat on, we're the good guys, we serve people, we help people, and we give good service. Well, Chase gives good service too now. And
True.
some of the
Yeah.
the larger banks are doing that now.
Yeah.
So you can't just hang your hat on rate and service. I mean, look at the rate period we've been in the last couple of years and managing your balance sheet. So you got to be able to manage your balance sheet. You need to be able to deliver in a whole new way with your members, because they're on Amazon and Uber Eats and all these different things, right? So you got to be able to manage to your members increasing desire to do things technologically, yet still offer that human-centric in-person experience that we were just talking about. And the
Yeah.
only way to do that is to make sure that you're finding systems, people to partner with that can help you to do this in an easy, seamless way, um and be really strategic about it and really targeted about it. But relevancy is important. I ask that question every day to my team. What's the why for FourLeaf, and what is it that we do that's going to make us relevant? And one of the things is listening to people. I listen to my people all the time. I do a ton of water coolers with them, listening to the members, getting the members' perspective and getting the employees' perspective of what the member thinks, having these conversations, really trying to understand what people care about, not
Mm-hmm.
just what we think they care about, but truly asking them what they care about, and then factoring that into some of the decisions that we make. So that's the human centric piece of it. And
Mm-hmm.
then making sure that we bring in the right technologies to help enable a really good experience, because that's how we'll stay relevant. But we have to always be educating ourselves. We have to be open to new way of doing things. We have to listen to people and not just say, well, that's how we've always done it,
Yeah.
because that's not going to work. Not in this time frame. That is not going to work. So I believe we just have to find that balance of staying focused to who we are core, what's our
Mm-hmm.
core values, how do we
Mm-hmm.
stay true to that,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to adapt to the modern times and make sure that we're modernizing the credit union experience, so that we remain relevant well into the future.
Yeah. Talking about my experience, I keep on telling creative leaders that if Netflix can tell me that I need to watch Stranger Things, the latest episode, a credit union should tell me what is the product that I need next. Right? That's
Right.
that's a
No,
level
I
that's a
agree.
level of I would say expectations that we have right now, right? If Chime can give me a experience of opening an account in 2.5 minutes, a credit union should also give me the similar experience. Yeah, we are the good guys, we take care of the world. That's amazing, but what's next, right? So you
Right.
are so relevant over there. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's really an interesting time. So that's why you have to educate yourself and be open to new ideas, and figure out ways to serve the member
Yeah.
authentically, faster, and also give members the confidence in the decisions that they're making. I think that's something that we lose sight of sometimes. Members
Hmm.
come to us because they're not confident in the financial decision. And I think that's something that we want to also, give members that confidence that, yeah, thank you for trusting us.
Yeah,
appreciate you. We appreciate your membership, and let me give you the confidence that you're making the right financial decisions for yourself.
absolutely. In the interest of time, one last question. I know you have to run. One last question is, I know you don't have a crystal ball, nor do I have, right? But if I ask you maybe for like 5 years from now, what would success look like for you personally and for FourLeaf?
So I think the answer is pretty much the same. So if I can continue to work with my team together to um, develop our culture, right? To be this culture that is always future thinking, staying real grounded in reality and future thinking, that the company will continue to grow and be successful. And we can't, like I said, chase shiny new toys. We have to really say, what is it that are the needs that our members care about, and follow that path so that we can be financially successful, and then
Mm.
also be meeting the members where they are and serving them the way they want to be served and staying relevant with the times. So I know that's a lot, but
Still,
we just have to stay focused on what's important. In our credit union, what's important is that we're a great place to work, a great place to bank, and that we are supporting all the communities that we serve. And you can do that in a modernized way that people will want to bank with you. People will
bank with you.
want to be with you. And we also have to be grounded in the reality that there might not be such a thing as the primary financial institution, but
Yeah.
you got to be really good at capturing the hearts and minds of the people that want to bank with you, and serve them, and serve them well. And then I think, that would be success in the next 5 years.
I'm so glad to know that you also believe that there's no PFI concept that's there. An average American has 21 plus financial relationships, right? And just being on the
Yeah.
top of the wallet is what we are all aspiring for, right? So,
Yeah.
Celinda, this was great, and I can't thank you enough for taking your time today to do this with us.
Thank
And
you.
again, thank you. You have a great rest of the
Always
day.
enjoy talking with you. Sorry it took so long to get this. The rebranding took a lot of effort and some of the systems changes. So I'm sorry it took us so long to talk, but I'm happy to finally get to chat with you.
Absolutely, Linda, and happy to even catch up with you sometime in person. I mean, we are technically neighbors, right? So if I'm in Bethpage sometime, I'll text you. I'm happy to
Please
grab a
do.
lunch or
Please
something.
do. Great to
Sure.
see you.
Great to